War is a universal language. And I know a renegade soldier when I see one. Never occurred to me that one might come from above. Space invasion, big car chase. Truth be told, I was ready to hang it up till I met you today. So you're not from around here?
It's hard to explain. I keep having these memories. I see flashes. I think I had a life here. But I can't tell if it's real.
We have no idea what threats are out there. We can't do this alone. We need you.
I'm not what you think I am.
Welcome back, Lucent Truth viewers, and today we're going to be reviewing the new Marvel movie, Captain Marvel. And we're going to start, of course, with the plot and story. John, what did you think of the overall plot and the story?
I mean, it's very rare
Please feel
that
free to jump in.
Yes. It's very rare that I'm disappointed with the Marvel movie, but I think this one actually disappointed me. The story was okay, but the plot I thought was horrible, and I thought it brought the entire movie down. There's some other reasons why I didn't like it too, but I would say the plot, for the most part, is the biggest letdown for this movie. They didn't tell this story well at all, and there was even times, I think there was like one of the scenes where she was like in the bar, and he comes walking in. And the way that they shot that scene, I was just like, okay, do they know each other? Have they known each other? I just didn't like it at all. Like, even their chemistry, I just didn't care for. But no, I didn't like the plot at all. And the story was okay.
I actually kind of agree. I think overall, I think it was a decent movie, but it does suffer because the execution, how the scenes played out, how they were directed. It almost seems like there should have been more takes for some of the shots, and I think it probably should have went back and rewrote some of the scenes. Some of the scenes shouldn't even been in there. Like, I don't think some of the scenes, like the very beginning of the movie, when she wakes up and she's in this alien world, but you don't feel. I didn't get the sense that that she was in an alien world. It looked fake to me, even though the special effects okay. It didn't feel like an alien world because there was no setup for it. And then she wakes up and she goes to get, I guess, her mentor or her teacher or whatever, and he looks like a human. So, I was like, all right, I'm assuming he's supposed to be an alien. And it didn't work for me. That entire beginning scene didn't work for me. And I think the movie, when it comes to plot, got better as the movie went along. Like, I think the movie got better as you got into it, but
opening up wise.
Yeah, opening up wise, and I think there was some cringy stuff in the middle, but overall, I would say the plot's pretty bad. But I didn't mind the story. I think the story is actually quite strong. I actually liked it. I liked why things were happening. I liked her motivations, why she was the person she was. But overall, I have to agree. I think overall the plot was pretty terrible.
Yeah, I would say that was probably the part of the movie that bothered me the most. Typically when you go to see a Marvel movie, you're really excited because you know it's going to be good. Like pretty much all of them that I've seen, I felt really engaged in the story. Like I was, I didn't even want to go to the bathroom. So, but this one, somewhere along the way, I kind of just was like losing interest until the end. it started off pretty strong, then in the middle it kind of lost me, and at the end I felt like it grabbed you back. This would be considered a prequel, right?
Yeah, this is 1995. Well,
Yeah.
prequel to all the Avenger movies.
Well, I feel like what happens in a prequel is they feel like they need to give you a whole bunch of explanations for why things are the way they are now. And what I felt like happened was they threw so much into the plot and story to try to get you up to speed and to tell you why things are the way they are, that they didn't really have enough time to, you know, do the things that make a movie great, like develop the characters and get you emotionally invested in it. It just felt like there was a lot of things coming at you at once. And for that, it made it kind of hard for me to follow it overall. I did like how they revealed some things, like the woman Marvel. I don't know, like, is that why it's called Marvel movies? Like,
Yeah, because in the comics, Marvel he was the original hero. He was a man.
yeah.
Yeah, they changed it for the movie. She obviously
So
was a woman.
I thought stuff like that, how they brought the Tesseract, and how you learn, like, even though it was kind of cheesy, like Nick Fury getting the eye patch, like little things that they did to kind of tie in present day, or what we've seen in the Marvel movies, how they kind of tied it all in. I thought that was interesting, but overall I felt like the story just didn't really grab you the way that I wanted it to.
Yeah, pretty much same here too. And all, so man. But it's like it just felt like, you know, you should already know these things. You know, it's just how they were throwing it at you. Said like if you didn't know, you know, it was your first time seeing it. Why it's just like it's hard for you to get invested. I felt like I was already invested because I already knew the backstory wise and, you know, things of that nature.
Like, as far as what though, like in what in particular? Because I know, like for me, like right, I'm not an avid reader of comics, but I know enough about the characters and some of the lore to know who the Kree are.
Yeah,
right?
like I had to ask John when we got in the car. I was like, so who are these people?
You see what I'm saying? So even for me, knowing who the Kree are and to see those beginning scenes, it's like, well, you're not establishing who the Kree are, and they kind of tell you, but I don't want you to tell me. It's a movie. Show me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think
Get invested into it.
Yeah, because they didn't properly show you who they were, why she was, why she might have been invested in being a Kree soldier, right? Some of the other scenes later on in the movie just didn't work. They weren't as powerful. They didn't work as well. You know, we talked about that a little bit before we started filming, but I think that's the fundamental reason why this movie wasn't
actually like why she was like just with
why they were fighting the Skrulls.
Yeah, think about it. All right, remember in the beginning scene when they're on like the subway looking thing, the train,
Yeah.
in the Kree homeworld or whatever. Okay, she's on this train and they're having a conversation about, I think, what they see when they go and look at, and go visit the Supreme Intelligence or whatever.
It's who they. It's whoever this. I guess
Yeah, but the scene didn't work for me because there was no setup. It was like, okay, these are two human-looking people on what looks like an alien world. They're talking about what they see, which is really alien to me, the Supreme Intelligence thing. There's no, and even when she goes to see it, she just walks into this room and the stuff gets on. It didn't have an impactful.
State that you watch.
Yeah, it was like, okay, well, she just, some blue stuff gets on her and she sees random stuff in her mind. It's just like, if it was like something like when you see the Supreme Intelligence and it's so jarring that you're out for like a week or two, and maybe, you know, she has to recover before they go on their next mission. Something, I don't know, something to where it's like, make me care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't care. I was like, all right, well, get to the next
that's
part.
why I personally think it was just such a weak part of the movie. I personally I think it would have been better if they just wouldn't even had it in there, Supreme Intelligence or whatever. I don't think they needed. I mean, I get why they put it in there. They put it in there because they were wiping her memory, so she didn't remember who she was when she lived on Earth or whatever. But you know, people have memory loss from crashes all the time. I think that would have been sufficient. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he had to have like this deep explanation and this Supreme Intelligence that wipes her memory. It's too much. I don't think you even need it or whatever. And Brian's right. If you're going to have it, you can at least do a better job explaining it or making it more grandiose. That way, you know, like, so okay, yeah, I'm on an alien planet, or dang, this is something that's crazy. And I know that kind of gets revealed a lot later on, that's the reason why, like, parts of her memory is gone. But I just personally thought it was just weak, and I think if they would have just scrapped that entire idea and only focus on the relationship between Jude Law and her, I think it would have been a lot stronger as far as you connecting with the characters, even with them being on the alien planet.
In fact, I looked it up. 'Cause remember we were talking about this when we came over to the house the other day, and why the Kree have different skin tones, right? And the reason why is because the Kree, they essentially they were created by these things called the progenitors, which I think is basically like Celestials in the Marvel universe. And because they became so advanced as a people, and they were getting close to becoming gods, these gods were like, okay, you're getting too close to becoming gods, so we're going to stop your evolutionary process, right? And so they couldn't evolve anymore, so they stayed where they were at. So what they did was they started mating with other alien life forms, and that's how the light skin or basically white looking Krees came, right? They didn't explain that in the movie. So it's like, if you're not going to explain that, don't even have it in there. Just make them all blue.
So you know, you have blue Kree, and you had a black Kree.
You had a black Kree.
Yeah, you had a black Kree too. So yeah, they didn't really go into.
I was like, I even asked him. I was like, why do they look like humans? Like, I don't understand.
They didn't explain any of that, so there was no grounding for why you should care.
Yeah.
It was just
It's like you should already know.
exactly. So later on, when you realize that the Kree are actually the villains and that the Skrulls are actually the good guys, it just
It's
wasn't.
hard to make that transition. Like,
It didn't work. It just wasn't as powerful because it was like that. That would have been one of the most profound parts of the movie if they would have made the first parts with the Kree work. Because I remember the one scene where they're flying into the planet. Those were cool. That was cool looking. That's how they should begin the movie. They're on a mission. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They got to stop the Skrulls. The Skrulls are the scourges of the universe or whatever, and they're killing them and whatnot. And the Skrulls are actually kind of terrifying.
They look terrifying.
They look terrifying.
They could have really played on to that.
And they did kind of play on it near the end of the movie, where it was like, okay, looks can be deceiving. You know what I'm saying? The Skrulls were actually the good guys, and they were actually more benevolent. It just didn't work. It just didn't work as much because they didn't properly establish.
But not only that, but I also think that was a problem too, though, when they did reveal. Well, I don't know. I guess that could have worked in their favor, because when they did, like, I can't remember what the Skrull name is, but the main Skrull that she ends up befriending,
General.
The General, or whatever. But like the first time, not the first time, but I think maybe the second or third time you see him, he has like this completely different persona than what you see with your eyes, because they don't even talk about, okay, like how the Skrulls are, you know, so dastardly and this or that. You just kind of see them and you know that they're fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's really about it.
Yeah.
So then when you see him, you know, he's kind of joking, he's making jokes or whatever like that. It's just like, okay, well, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, are they good? Are they bad? Like, well, what's the deal? So I just don't think they didn't set them up correctly at all. And I thought they were just kind of thrown in there. You know,
that's what it felt like.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it felt like. It was like they were
in.
thrown in there, and it didn't. So when the big reveal scene happened, where they're actually the benevolent ones, it just wasn't as powerful.
They try to use the fact where they try to basically like show it, like, hey, look, he was doing this, he's trying to find his family.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they're looking for that. They're kind of like, okay, well, we're showing this part, so maybe they'll, you know, give into it. Then,
but then it became at that point it became kind of hokey, because it was I want to like what you're doing, but you didn't set it up right. You didn't set it up right.
Not only that, but the Kree, I don't know, and maybe it's because.
And
maybe it's because, you know, it's because you already watched, because if you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, and if you remember anything from Guardians of the Galaxy, you know Ronan is kind of like the ruler of the Kree.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Well, I guess you can't rename them, but it was one of those things where it's like, okay, well, the story, like, obviously I know, like, okay, I know the Kree aren't that great, you know what I'm saying? Because Ronan obviously works for Thanos or whatever. So it was one of those things that was like, did everyone know that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and they even put Ronan in this movie. So it's one of those things that's like, okay, obviously there was something going on with the Kree, and obviously something wasn't adding up. I thought from the beginning, because it was like, okay, well, she's part of the Kree.
But they could have easily
and Ronan.
But they could have easily fixed that with some simple things they added into the plot points, where the scroll said that look, it's war. I've got my hands dirty too.
Right.
And then her mentor, Jude Law, he could have been like, look, this is war. I'm not saying that the Kree are perfect, but we're fighting for a just cause. The scroll did these dastardly things to us or whatnot. Right. And yes, Ronan, we have people who aren't the best, like Ronan and whatnot, but we're fighting for it. They could have easily, smoothed that out. They just didn't do it. They didn't do it.
Well, that's my point. They didn't do any of that. And what I guess my problem was when they actually revealed it, there wasn't any big surprise because you already know how Ronan is. You already, you know what I'm saying? You've already did a whole movie with him. So it was just like, okay, to me there was no shock. One of the guys I was talking to about the movie at work, he was just like, so you didn't think that was a shock that Jude Law, turned? I was like, no, it wasn't no shock. I knew. I mean, you can see it. He's Kree. He works for Ronan. No, there was no shock. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It was weak.
Well, I was going to say one plot point that none of us brought up, but I know you really didn't like, was how when they have all the characters, when they gather together in that central location at her old friend's house, and the way that they actually reveal to you what's going on is that they have the black box from her plane that had crashed, and it's like a CD that they play.
It's a disc that they put in.
Why does it take so long? I was just
like,
yeah, but that was.
It's almost like they put that in there just so they can have that joke.
Yeah,
it's just like, I get it. You want to have that joke, but have it somewhere else. Don't make the major reveal of the entire movie on a disc.
Well, basically what happens is when they play the
Talk about
disc,
matter of fact.
It reveals everything basically, and it's like instead of them kind of getting to the point where the characters gradually have an aha moment, so they like thrust it on them.
It's like they basically just gave you. Remember, they even did a cutback scene, and it shows you Jude Law shooting his mentor, and I was like, dude, that's weird. That's poor storytelling.
That's like you got to a point and you were like, oh crap, I need to say all
this. I forgot. Let me give you this entire thing.
I'll give you guys that one, because at first when you said it, I was like, I didn't mind the little scene where they were like, why is it taking so long? But you're right, it was a forced reveal scene.
Yeah, it's like when you can't figure out how to do it organically, you're like, I know what we can do.
True.
We'll stick this in there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think we have pretty much a consensus on this that the plot was pretty terrible, but story actually probably wasn't so bad.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, they had enough to work with. They just didn't pull it off. So we're going to move on to the next section, which is going to be cinematography. And we'll be back. Welcome back. We're going to move on to the cinematography section, and I'm not even. We just jump in. What do you guys think of the cinematography?
Now, I will say now, for the special effects and stuff, Samuel L. Jackson. I know you did not kill me. For Samuel L. Jackson, I feel like they did a really good job.
As far as they were younger?
Yeah. I mean, that.
Their anti-aging technology has
actually been that notice that made him look younger.
Yeah.
She looked the same too. I'm sorry. I didn't have my glasses on.
But I mean, as far as special effects, look pretty streetwise to me.
I'm sorry, I think it was
so was the end. So was the end. It was some things, but I mean, I can let stuff like that. The majority of it was pretty streetwise.
I liked the Supreme Intelligence, how like when the little things were like. I thought that was kind of cool.
I didn't care for that. It looked fake to me. And another thing I didn't like the makeup effects on the scrolls.
Makeup effects.
Yeah, I don't know. I think makeup effects are starting to become a lost art. Mm-hmm. Like if you look at the makeup effects like in the 80s and early 90s, far better than some of the stuff that we're seeing.
Is it where it'll be like the regular footage, but then it'll go back and like color certain things and stuff?
Maybe. I don't know. I will say this though. I think when the scrolls, when you see them metamorphing or whatever, that actually looked good. It looked like
this form is taken.
But I thought the way they did it, it had a natural feel to it.
Yeah,
so I thought
I think that looked good too.
Yeah, because it grossed me out. I was like, that's probably how it would look. Someone was like, unlocking their DNA to change into something else, But I thought that was pretty good.
It kind of how Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Like he can get away with that part, but just with it being like a organic type of being whatnot and seeing the metal like that.
Yeah.
I liked the blue blood too. I mean, y'all are probably used to that, but that's the first time I had seen that. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's a
And those
vampire
scenes
movie.
where like she was laying on the ground or like getting blown up, and all that blue stuff was surging, like the
Yeah, her
energy.
powers was actually pretty
That was
good.
pretty cool.
Yeah, her powers pretty good. I thought the suits,
I didn't like where her face was.
her face.
At the end, you mean, like when she
Yes.
was all illuminated?
Yes.
I can't even remember.
I didn't like
It
her
is.
face.
She's pretty cute. Watch your mouth.
No, I think he.
No,
meant
I
as
mean
far as-
not. Yeah, I'm talking about like how they digitally did it. I just
It kind of reminded
It
me
did
of
not look
like
good.
say like if they would make a live action Silverhawks. How Silverhawks always go like that. It just kind of it just took.
For some
me
reason, it didn't. None of that stood out to me. I don't know. I have to go back and watch it. That didn't really stand out.
I
to me.
liked
It
how
was
her
it was
suit
almost
had,
instant
like-
for me.
And when it
Especially the
changed-
one part when she went up to the ship and she kind of did like the fist pump or whatever. Like that, I just didn't like the way that looked.
I didn't.
Especially
I
her
thought that was
face.
cool.
How about like whenever
Yeah.
you customize the suit when she was
Yeah,
with
that was
one
cool.
girl? Like,
That was
Yeah,
pretty
that was
cool.
cool.
I did like how they did like
Yeah,
the
the
little
little stuff.
They had some
little-
homages too because before she picks the color she wants, she has a green and white suit. In the original Captain Marvel suit, when he comes to Earth, is green and white, which I thought was pretty cool.
okay.
But I actually liked the design of the suits. They look like space suits, like an advanced space suit. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was really cool. But there was another part I wanted to talk about as far as special. Oh yeah, the
the
one.
beginning when they were shooting.
Yeah,
the
man,
water.
that was so cool, man. That right there, I thought visually was some of the coolest parts of the movie. When they were like coming in and you see her and she's the blast, and they show that part in the trailer. You see her hair kind of sticking out or whatever.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And then when they're
Yeah.
rising out of the water, you see the blue.
Blue, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually
nice.
really well done. That was really well done. I thought.
I liked how they
Force.
added like little things and paid off like tribute to the '90s. How they had like Game Boys and
Yeah.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
I
I
thought
thought-
down to the sound effects, like when that thing was loading. The whistle
Yeah,
was
and
loading.
what they had
You
the
could tell it
dial-up
amplified it.
internet.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I remember
That
that.
was-
I thought the fins though didn't look really good. When you saw the Kree's helmets,
Yeah.
you had for some reason they didn't design those as well.
I love that.
Hers, because she didn't have hers, she just let her hair
Yeah,
kinda
okay.
Right.
come out. But when you actually see the fins, for some reason it just doesn't. It didn't. I thought maybe they could have, taken that further as far as the design aspect. But the actual suits did look pretty cool. But overall,
They
man,
were kind of bulky to you. I thought they were kind of bulky.
I like it. It looked like a spacesuit. I remember Uncle David was like, "I wish it was more form-fitting so we could see her boobs and all that." I like it, but I like the fact I like the. Which usually he's the one he likes practicality. I like the practicality of it. I like the
well,
fact that
practical that it would be
Yeah,
big.
yeah. So,
it is a
it's a
space
spacesuit,
suit.
You
yeah.
gotta blame that on me.
That's what I said. But overall, I thought the special effects they weren't the best, but they weren't terrible either. In fact, I think they were better than Black Panther special effects. I think Black Panther overall was a better movie, but if you want to talk about special effects, I think this is a better movie. If it was just pure special effects, I think this is a better movie. I thought they did a better job.
Well, especially at the end too, like the special effects when she had her little awakening and she
Yeah.
finally came into her own.
Her binary moment or whatever.
I thought that was really good.
Cool.
But overall, cinematography wise, it's pretty good. I even like some of the scenes when they were in Louisiana. Was it Louisiana?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Some of the backdrops
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
wasn't bad.
I
Overall, the
honestly
shots were
thought
kinda
the most
mediocre.
iconic scene in here was the scenes of her as a little girl, or the
Yeah,
progression
yeah.
through. That was my favorite shot of the entire movie. Everything else
Falling
was
and
kind
getting
of like,
back up.
Yeah, those were cool.
yeah,
Yeah, those were pretty good.
because I think it was well timed with the music and what she was going through at that particular time.
Yeah.
And when she's, I guess, quote unquote, fighting the Supreme Intelligence.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Was I thought was
I didn't
the
like
best.
I didn't like any of the Supreme Intelligence scenes.
Well, because it was like,
When she was just like in the
yeah, she was just in the
Alright.
like how the world looked or whatever.
Yeah, it was
And it
very
was-
boring.
it was
like
her
a white
mentor
room.
that was
Like,
talking
They could have
about-
done a lot more to make
Yeah.
that look cool.
It was already forgettable.
Yeah.
Like, who do you see when you see the Supreme Intelligence?
I really just did not like that concept. Yeah, it just did
I mean, that's taken straight from the comics.
yeah, I know, but
Now,
I just,
now
like,
the way they portrayed it isn't from the because I think it's Supreme Intelligence in the comics is just big, just giant face with
yeah.
tentacles coming off his head or whatever. So I mean, they changed it up a little bit, but the idea comes from the comics. And I think the idea originally was they took the best minds, military minds, political minds, all that stuff from dead Kree, and they put it in a supercomputer and they just kept adding to it, and that's what created this Supreme Intelligence. It's almost like a religion for them,
Right.
really. And that's the thing, man. They just didn't establish that well. They didn't establish that well at all.
You know what? It would have been better if they'd have just hinted at it. Like through her talks with Jude Law, they hint at the Supreme Intelligence, but she's never actually gone and seen it yet.
Yeah, because it's
and
because if you actually were to go see it, it would be so like
like amazing,
or earth shattering. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I think it would have been a little bit
I
more
agree
powerful.
with that. Yeah, I agree with
Then you saw it like what 2 or 3 times in the movie, kind of loses its luster. But I mean, the first time you see it, it really wasn't anything.
And she didn't seem very shocked either. She kind of was like, "What's up, Supreme Intelligence?" Like she didn't seem awestruck or anything.
Well, it's been 6 years, so she's already had seen her a whole bunch of times.
Speaking of
Oh,
which,
I thought that was like the first time she'd ever seen her.
No, remember it was like 6 years. She's been on Creed. Yeah, she already had been there for 6 years.
Yeah, and that's why she kept asking him, "What do you see?"
Which was another reason why I think the conflict that she had didn't make any sense. After 6 years, after fighting a war, and after being forced to fight a war, unknowingly, you know what I'm saying? You have a little bit more confidence, and I think the conflict should have started with her internal conflict. I think it should have started when she got back to Earth.
It's true.
Because if it would have started when she got to Earth, first of all, it would have made sense. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter what they did to her, there's just certain things on Earth that would have triggered some of those memories.
Exactly.
And then she would have been like, okay, well, I've been here before. And then you would have seen Jude Law trying to step in and kind of like, it would have made more sense. And it would have created that tension between those two
I totally
that would
agree.
eventually,
That's a good point.
would have broke.
That's a good point. The fact that all that stuff where she gets captured by the Skrulls and all that, I wouldn't have done that. I would have made it so that they somehow they are led to Earth chasing after the Skrulls. And they're all on Earth, all her partners or whatever. And you're right, she should have already had the confidence. She should have been like a head Creed.
Yeah.
She should have been feared among the Skrulls. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
This fierce warrior who can who's taken out many of them or whatever. And then she realizes when she's on Earth that she's done all these horrible things in the name of the Creed. That she's been used as a weapon. And then the reveal would have been so much better. Sorry, man. They dropped the ball.
They dropped the ball. They dropped the ball in it.
Yeah, they did.
Especially because it could have all culminated with her seeing her friend, and that could have sparked all types of stuff. When the little girl was showing her all the pictures, and then it could have been like, oh man, like all this stuff is happening. This is me in this picture. Her friend is talking to her like, where have you been after 6 years? You thought you were dead. It would have been so much.
If they would have done
much
that,
harder.
they would have done that. The scene where the Skrull guy forgives her and says, "Look, this is war, and I've got my hands dirty too." That would have been way more powerful. And the scene where she wants to help them go find a new home world would have been. Or I would have felt it
Probably
more.
the whole movie would have been.
Yeah. Sell it. But we're going back to plot and story. We're supposed to be talking about cinematography, so we're going to move on. We're going to move on to acting, script, and writing. Welcome back, Lucent Truth viewers, and we're going to move on to the acting, script, and writing. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that it's probably the worst part of the movie. One of the worst parts of the movie, but I'll let you guys go first.
I don't know. I think the acting was subpar at best. Especially her friend. That whole scene where she's trying to.
That was the most cringeworthy scene.
So it's like new, but they're like.
Now Brie Larson's definitely been. I don't know about the black one. But
Yeah, so like
Yeah, she's been in other stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that was probably the worst acted scene in the entire movie. But even everyone else, it was just kind of like mediocre at best.
Yeah,
I think. And Jude Law is a great actor. You know what I'm saying? He's done some good stuff, and obviously Samuel L. Jackson. So it was kind of disappointing, but I don't think that's what made. I don't think that's what
They didn't give Jude enough to work with.
They didn't give him, because if you actually go back and watch the movie, he really wasn't in the movie a whole lot.
Which is why the movie ultimately failed too.
Yes.
Because if they would have done the one scenario
that,
where they all went to Earth and he's still kind of by her side,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have the rift while they're on Earth, it would have made more sense or whatever. He would have had more to work with, but they just didn't have.
Well, and even the strong characters like Samuel L. Jackson, some of the lines they gave him were like Like they didn't give him any really strong points. I
Yeah, they
felt
did.
like.
They did, but they probably didn't want to have him upstaging the main character too. But I agree, he didn't really have a lot of strong lines either. I will say though, Brie Larson, she comes off as likable. I did like her in the movie, but I think some of her posturing didn't make sense to me. Well, here's why I say that. All right, she's a girl. She's like a hardy girl from Earth, right? Mm-hmm. But in the movie, like there's scenes where she's like posing like royalty, and I didn't understand why. I didn't get it. Did y'all guys see that?
It's more like, remember she was always like
posturing like
the noble warrior.
Yeah, she's like, you know, like like she's doing that, like that kind of thing.
But she was a warrior though. Remember, for 6 years she wasn't an Earthling. So 6 years she was a Kree.
If you're okay, you're a warrior, and she was specifically like, it looked like they were like a what do you call it, like a special forces team. Special forces don't. They don't do that. I'm sorry, they just don't do that.
Even like
I didn't get it. Like it didn't work for me.
Like when the security guard, like she's telling him, hey, I need this, and that. No, he's like, well, yeah, it's over there. The communications, the radio shack points to that. And it's like, you know, he's there the whole time, like just watching it. Like that part, I really did.
Well, and I think some of that too was that they were trying to show you that she's kind of like lost between these two worlds because she started as a human, right? So technically, she's not this warrior, Kree or whatever. She's a human.
No,
but
even
is.
on Earth, she was a soldier.
Yeah, she's a soldier. Yeah.
Well,
warrior.
But I think the reason why she kind of seems like she's not fully this is because she's not. She's kind of like a hybrid between the two.
I feel you. And if all the other Kree were doing the posing, I was like, okay, hold on. She's picking up on their culture.
Well, maybe some of that was supposed to be like funny, like what you're talking about, when she was like, "Where's the communications device?" Maybe some of that is just for the comedic relief.
Almost every scene, like other than the like down to earth scene.
But even the scene where she's like driving in the car with Nick Fury, because she was saying like, they're like heroes. They were like heroes. So maybe that's the reason why she was doing all that.
I guess it didn't work for me because
she only did it on Earth, really, or did she do it?
She did it a lot. She did it mostly on Earth.
But most of the movie took place on Earth.
Yeah, and it was like there was certain scenes like when she was like fighting the Kree in the train, and then when she goes down to the subway and stuff like that, where she was doing it, and it was like, okay, you're a warrior, you're on a planet you've never been on. Obviously, she didn't have time to do research about the planet, but obviously they don't know anything about the Kree. Wouldn't the first thing you want to do is, okay, I gotta blend in, but she doesn't do that until much later.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
It didn't work for me. Like it was like, okay, she's not. You're a warrior. You're supposed to be smart about these type of things, and it just didn't. It didn't.
Yeah, you're right. She didn't change her
Maybe
clothes until
like they had like too much fire.
all out in the open. You know?
And they made that whole scene where like she comes to the Blockbuster and Samuel Jackson and Coulson meet her. That whole scene was very confusing to me because I was like, do they already know about aliens? Like,
well,
why is everything like cool right now?
The way I took that though was, okay, they're S.H.I.E.L.D., right? And
but you couldn't tell whether he knew because he was kind of like shocked.
I'm not saying they knew, but what I saw was, okay, they're already
they've kind of been like trained.
The most clandestine of the clandestine people on Earth, right? So right, yeah. So they're already. So so I'm assuming they come when stuff like when weird stuff like that happens is out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
It's like, all right. So that's kind of how I took it.
Right. Kind of.
I don't know so much about Men in Black, but it's like, okay, something came out of the sky. Maybe it's a spy satellite or whatever. Okay, we're not going to send the regular army. Or if we do, they might control the situation. But now, okay, S.H.I.E.L.D. goes in there and kind of figures out what happens or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I took it. I think that's why they were so casual about it. You know, because they're trained to be, all right, well.
Yeah, that's what I got from too. Like they were almost like they were trained to deal with
situations.
These type of situations.
Yeah. Well, and as far as acting too, the main scene with Captain Marvel and her friend, where they were having like their scene where they're yelling at each other, and she's trying to get her to like remember who she is. The acting in that scene just felt really forced, and I think a lot of it was because the characters hadn't really been developed enough for you to be.
To care.
You weren't really. Yeah, you didn't care. You were just like, oh my
like
gosh, why is she
together,
so emotional right now?
Yeah.
Right.
It was hard to really connect to that scene. So
Not only that, I feel like because they portrayed them as really, really close, right?
I almost feel like I didn't buy it for some reason. I didn't buy it that they were that close.
Well, I'm just saying that's what they were
I know,
going
but
for.
I didn't buy it. For some reason, I just didn't.
My point is that if they were that close, I just feel like that wouldn't have been her first reaction. Your close friend, basically your sister, y'all grew up in the ranks together, y'all both achieved some of the same goals together. You thought she died. You've been mourning over her for however many years. I don't care what she had on or how she was doing. I personally feel like her first reaction was to get up and hug her. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
even for warriors or soldiers, you know what I'm saying? She's still a woman. They're still humans. They still have those feelings. I honestly feel like she would have went up and hugged her, and they could have had a scene when you see Captain Marvel. She's kind of like, all right, okay,
she doesn't quite,
because she doesn't understand all this, like, whatever, like that. So the whole her being, I guess upset or whatever,
right,
it just didn't make any sense.
Because even how she figures out that, that she's probably from Earth by looking at the picture, I thought that was just kind of like I thought it.
As a matter of fact.
They could have done it better. They could have done it better.
Now there was one scene. I remember one time where a friend was getting in the jet, and as they was doing the rock and roll thing. Yeah, like the jet was like the window part was closing, and then you see like a little you see like I guess the scroll. It's like a little.
That's when she got captured by the Skrulls and they were messing with her mind.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
okay. So
they were extracting information from her mind.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the reason why when she was seeing different parts of her memory, you would see like, okay, a scroll would just pop up here and something like that.
Confused me.
Yeah, because I was like,
I was very
okay,
it wasn't a very well directed scene.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
the
just
whole
wasn't.
thing made me like, wait.
I mean, I understood what they were doing, but
Yeah,
it just wasn't very well directed.
Yeah.
That's the reason why she could hear some of the voices in the background, the Skrulls' voices in the background, because she was kind of like waking up but still in the dream state.
Yeah.
It just wasn't very well directed.
I actually didn't mind
I
that
had to
part.
ask him so many questions when we got in the car. I was like,
Yeah, for some reason I didn't mind that part. I thought it was a creative way of actually showing what they were doing without. Yeah, we got these devices connected to you. Obviously, they show that later.
Right. But
Transitioning to that, I
personally
thought
think
that was. I thought that was actually pretty well done.
that whole thing should have just been not happened. They should have never caught her.
But I would have never got her to Earth that way. So
Yeah.
But I'm not even gonna cut. We're just gonna move right on to the music, or the score, the musical score, and our final thoughts. So, John, what do you think of the musical score?
I actually didn't have a problem with the music or the scoring, especially at the end when she, went to full Super Saiyan mode. I loved it actually. That was probably my favorite part of the entire movie. Was her just flying through space and just actually that was Captain Marvel. Her just wrecking shop and destroying stuff.
That's
That was
interesting
cool.
because it's not that I didn't like it, but I was like, all right, I've already seen this in the trailer, so I'm like, eh.
That was the problem. They revealed too much of that. They shouldn't have showed you that in the trailers. That way it would have been a little bit more. Yeah, it would have been a little bit more surprised. But I still enjoyed watching it because hey.
I actually did like the very part into that scene though, where she does go like this, and just kind of tell them, all right, back off, I need to leave.
Yeah, no,
that was kind of cool.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just didn't like her face and how she looked. I didn't like I didn't like the way that they designed it or the way that it looked. Like it reminded me of like 1990 2001 Matrix with the 3D model of him flying around in the Matrix from what was that? It wasn't Revolutions. That was the third one. That was Matrix Reloaded.
Okay.
That's what it kind of reminded me of. Like I'm clearly looking at a 3D model here.
I have to go
Her
back.
face
I didn't
just
mind.
didn't look right.
It looked fine to me. I thought the special
look
effects were fine. I still think
Right.
I think visually still some of the best scenes were that scene where they went in when they went into that planet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, that was cool.
I think visually that's
cool.
the best part of the movie. But overall for me, when it comes to musical score, I thought it was really good. But John, give us your rating.
Oh, I give it a 2. Two out of 5 balls.
Oh, somebody help me.
I think it's a little bit. I think it was a little bit.
Yeah, it's really hard.
I think it was a little bit below average. I'm sorry. The plot is a big part for me in the movie. How you reveal things, the story, stuff like that. It's a big part for me, and I think they failed. even as we're talking about it, I give you a little bit more credit because that's a dynamic that I really wasn't looking at because I was so appalled by how they were telling the story. But that is kind of cool how they put that in there. How that point in time, women trying to be positive stuff like that is kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? How they kind of put that in there, but they didn't do anything with it, so it's a moot point because the plot was so horrible. So it gets a 2 out of 5. I don't think it's horrible, but I mean, I would definitely rather watch other Marvel movies than this one. And I have to go back and watch the first Captain American movie, but I remember that being an actual decent movie.
No. First Captain America is a decent movie, but I think this is a decent movie.
I think the first Captain America is better than this.
The first Captain America movie has a lot of issues there. I will say I think the first Captain America movie is just a little better than this movie because it has, I think, more of its scenes worked. You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of it,
but not much more. And I think for some reason visually, I think the overall experience for the first Captain America movie is just better than this movie. But I would give the first Captain America movie 3 maybe.
I would give it a 3.
A 3, yeah, but I give this movie a 3. My rating for this movie is a 3. I think it's worth seeing. I would like to see it again. When it comes out on Netflix, I'll probably watch it again. Just to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Just to watch it. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna give it 2.5. I think that's too low. I think overall the plot could have been much better. I think the movie could have been directed better. I think a lot of the scenes could have been executed better. But it ain't bad. Like I just seen so much worse. Even worse Marvel movies like Thor: The Dark World or Iron Man 2. You know what I'm saying? So, and don't even get me started on before Marvel became a studio like Elektra.
Oh god, yeah.
Daredevil.
But those movies are just bad.
You
those get like
those
half a ball.
deserve like a 2 or a 1 or something.
No, those get like half a ball. Okay,
maybe
half a ball.
Okay.
Those movies are just bad. Elektra, those are garbage.
Perhaps.
There's nothing redeemable about those movies.
See, I would give
a 2 is a fair. That's a fair score. You know, as far as how bad the plot for this movie, that's a fair score. And that's only because you did some Super Saiyan type stuff at the end or whatever. You know, and some of the visuals are cool.
But when I think of the movie though, and what I like about it, that's not the first thing I think about.
That's all I could think about when I was watching it. I was like, what am I watching right now?
I like that part of it, but I actually like some of the other dynamics of the film, even though I think it could have been done better. Yeah, that's a low blow.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Shots fired. Don't come out with that weak shit.
Now that you mention it, though, I think this movie is just as good as Wonder Woman. And I think Wonder Woman is just a decent movie.
Well, I gave Wonder Woman a 2. Well, we didn't do it.
I don't think we were Wonder Woman.
But I gave Wonder Woman a 2.
I think it's an average.
I gave it a 2.
I think Wonder Woman is an average film.
Gave it a 2. Why? Because low average.
Wow, I just don't think these movies are below average. I just seen so many below average movies that I just don't. Yeah, I think this movie is average. I think it's an average movie. It's just an average movie. Yeah, but all right.
I did not see Wonder Woman.
An average movie is a decent plot.
I feel like I should see Wonder Woman just so I can say that.
It's a decent plot. It is.
I don't think 2 is decent.
I think Jessie has a talking stick.
Oh my bad. Go ahead.
So for the score, I loved the score because it had so many like 90s classics in it, especially the No Doubt Just a Girl, like when she was like, I'm just a girl. You know, she's fighting.
Yeah, so she's fighting, yeah.
Because I mean, I feel like that was the whole underlying message, and that's the reason why I actually came around at the end and found myself actually enjoying the movie, because it did have like a really strong girl power message. And you know, I liked it. I was like fist bumping. I was like, yes,
Fortunately,
kill them all.
Poorly executed.
But it was enough for me at the end, because like
right.
the whole movie, you see her kind of battling and struggling with like an internal conflict, and he's like, oh, you have to control your emotions, blah blah blah. And I feel like for women, we are so powerful. Like we literally give life. We literally create life within us. We're so powerful, but we're always like held down by insecurities and doubts and fears and other people, and letting other people control us and decide our lives. And at the end, when she had that moment where she was like, I don't need this, I don't need any of this, I'm powerful on my own, and she started kicking ass, I was like, yes, love it. So
Too bad everything that led up to that point.
right, I agree
not-
with you.
Yeah.
Because there was a point
Yeah.
where I was literally like, my mind was drifting, and I was like, I should go get like some popcorn.
Right.
I kind of have to pee. What time is it? So the movie did kind of lose you in the end. It was not as good as some of the other Marvel movies, but for me, the way that they gave her so much like girl power and she was just kicking butt, that spoke to me as a woman. Like, she recognized her strength and she was like, she was in it. So I give it 3.5 because of that. Because I liked the ending.
Way too high.
Well, you're not a woman, so you clearly would not be as impacted by the girl power.
Why can't you look at the movie objectively?
Because I'm a woman.
Rate objectively. Like, okay, I objectively rated Black Panther. I'm black. And I want to like it, but it was.
But
A lot of movies are subpar. It was
objectively, I can take a composite of the fact, okay, yeah, the plot and the acting needed some work, but overall, I liked her character. I thought she was witty, which I enjoyed. She was sarcastic, which I can relate to. And overall, she was a tomboy. She
I mean, I
she had
agree.
a
I
pilot
definitely
jacket
can
on.
see a lot of women like this movie. Like
Yeah.
girls, I can see.
I mean, I can say,
watch it, have
and I've
fun,
sat here and
be
said,
empowered from it.
There were, it was
But from an
lacking.
analytical standpoint,
But
it's too-
I did not give it a 5. I would have been a 3, but then the girl power at the end cranked it up and I gave it extra 0.5. So that's where I am.
Dang, 3.5. Oof.
That to me says it was good, not amazing,
But not great.
Right? You know,
Yeah. It's not that six cosmic.
no,
No,
it's not
it's
even.
not-
It's not even
not a 5.
sniffing at that cosmic
it's,
level.
It's all good.
Well, the reason why I gave it a 3 is because I actually was intrigued by the movie. Even though I sort of look at it like what's it called? Star Wars. What's what I'm always talking about? Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Like plot wise, acting wise, there's a lot of terrible stuff in that
Oh.
movie.
Oh,
But there's enough about the movie that intrigued me. That I was like, okay, I give it a 3.
Okay.
You know, and it's
what was intriguing?
a lot of stuff that she was just talking about. There was some aspects in there that I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. It just didn't execute it that well. But I enjoyed it. I still enjoyed the movie, you know, overall. So I give it a 3. It's not a 3.5. It's not a 3.5. Barely a 3.
Well,
You know? And I was tempted to give it a 2.5.
I thought you were going to do a Demetrius and give it a 2.8.
breaking the whole scoring system. Still.
I know.
But
Well, you were entitled to your opinion.
it's all too good. Yeah, the score. I enjoyed it. You know, even with the sound effects wise and stuff. I think everything, even down to the smallest detail, like I was saying with the loading. You know, with the internet connecting. You know, they really paid attention to detail on that. And this sound, the score, and all went with the whole. You know, flow of the movie and everything, really got that feeling. Man, shoot, also too, man, it's like I'm gonna have to give it a 3.5 as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, man. I mean, I know there's a little bit of some holes in it and stuff like that and all, but like I said, but like I said, like I enjoyed the special effects. I really felt like it was really done. Oh man, like some of the humor, I was getting it. Like, yeah, it's kind of like punch type humor, but it's like I felt like it's building me up to the next movie that's about coming up. So it's like that's what I try to keep in mind. Like, okay, and I still feel like I didn't get to see like all her powers or all, because even at the end when she like grabs the missiles or something, and like I guess throws back out.
Some of those parts are really cool.
Yeah, I'm like, I just want to see a little bit more.
She caught it.
She
it.
seemed
Yeah,
like
it's-
super powerful, like
Oh, yeah.
the most powerful.
Yeah, and I just feel like you still haven't tapped into that yet.
Well,
So-
they did say that she was going to be the most powerful character they revealed in the Marvel.
I am
Other than
really
Ryan
looking forward to
Reynolds,
seeing
yeah.
her in Endgame. She's gonna be
see
in
that's
Endgame,
see
right?
that's
yeah.
what I'm
That's
which
Which
is
is deviation from the comics, because
Yeah.
she's definitely not the most powerful. Thor is way more powerful in the comics.
Yeah, I
But
was
maybe
looking at
when
it
she's
slow,
in
so-
a supporting
She
cast
is in
and
like the top
everybody
10
else.
though. I think as far as the female superheroes in Marvel Universe, she is in like the top 10. I think they
It's
have
basically
like
what is
they have like Scarlet Witch above her.
yeah, but then she like disappeared in the Marvel.
Well, I don't think they have Scarlet Witch
Oh no,
as powerful in this movie. So at least they haven't
She
shown
hasn't
it
had like
yet.
her own movie or anything either, right? So
Scarlet Witch.
yeah.
I
Her
don't
own
think, I don't think
Yeah,
she holds. She can hold.
I don't think yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's always been kind of
But
like
in the comics, she's like
supporting.
insanely powerful.
Yeah.
Much more powerful than how they depict her in the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lady Death and there's someone else. Death. The one that Thanos is basically trying to impress.
I don't really consider that a female.
Wow.
I mean, she's
Because I was looking it up.
It's an abstract being. She can take any form she wants.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They
had Helen above her.
Lady Death.
Huh?
Deadpool didn't he fall in love with Lady Death or something at one point?
So I know Thanos.
Thanos
falls in love with Lady.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the comics. They had Helen above her, and they had someone else. I can't remember. But I think she was.
I think Phoenix.
Oh, that's who it was. Jean Grey.
Yeah.
I gotta think about Jean Grey. Yeah, Jean Grey. They had Jean Grey above her.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I enjoy it. Like I said, it's just building me up for what's coming up next. So that's it. I had a good time.
And it's just something about
I don't know what it was,
but I did not
90s
like the
things
fighting
like
in
that.
this movie. I did not like how they choreographed the fight scenes
Actual
in
combat?
this movie. Yeah.
I don't remember them.
I think the only memorable fight scene
like when
really
they were
with me was like when they had the black,
like when they were practicing in the beginning of the movie.
I like the fight scene when they had like the hands on their arms.
They were practicing, even when they were fighting the Skrulls.
Even that, I don't remember it because it was nothing memorable about it.
It was funny how Jude Law at the end was like, "Show me now,
fight scene
and prove to me that you're a warrior." And she was like,
She busted.
Yeah,
just beyond.
That was funny.
He went flying back.
Yeah.
I know.
So
How about you, cameraman? What do you rate it?
3.5.
I don't care about what you think.
I would have given it a 3, but I thought she was kind of cute. I thought she was kind of cute. I like the girl power message.
Yeah, people aren't rating subjectively out.
No! What is a rating if it's not how you feel about a movie?
Oh.
That is how I feel about it.
You're supposed to take all the categories and then
I did! I
Plot,
combined how I
story.
felt about everything.
cinematography, pretty good.
The
Acting,
plot had it in it, and she looked good. So
Or final thoughts. It's an average film.
Hey, if
played
I give
good
it a
music,
5,
but she's
then you could be saying that.
special
But I did
effects
not
was
give it
straight.
a
What they
5,
had
I
to
give
do.
it a 3.
3.5 is better.
What
It's
that
better than
is,
average. This is an
is-
average film. This is an average.
To me, it's just 0.5 better than
And it was funny.
the middle of the road.
I laughed a lot.
Oh, this is something.
Technically, I gave it above average. Really, I should be giving it a 2.5.
Yeah, that 2.5 would be average.
2.5
Matter of fact, I'm
is
changing my
5,
rating.
and I always forget.
Please put the 2.5. It's average. It's like middle of the road. I changed mine.
Right.
2.5.
For some reason, I always feel like 3 is the middle, but it's actually...
It's actually 2.5. Yeah. Even though we do have a 6.
We do have the 6, but that's only for
special occasions.
So you know, it's really out of 5 bowl.
Yeah, I'm changing mine. It's a 2.5. So actually, now I feel a little bit better about your 2.
I'm just saying.
He's right. Yeah, he's right.
I'm saying.
You want to change yours?
2.5. This is not a 3. This is not a 3.5. It's not a 3.
I haven't given anything to 6 yet, so.
Yeah. But yeah, please like, subscribe, come back. What is going to be our next one that we're going to release?
You know what's funny? We never did a podcast on
Negro Planet.
Yeah, but we started doing this afterwards.
I watched
This
it.
is true.
Negro Planet.
We're going to release the Negro Planet one after this?
Is that the name of it?
Negro Planet.
Yeah.
New comedy.
Destination Negro Planet.
Sci-fi comedy.
I like
It's a
Detective
movie
Block. We
or
watched
a
that.
show?
Yeah.
It's a movie.
Well, I know we're gonna do Valerian and the Planet. That should come
That's
out
the next
before this
one, yeah.
one. So what's coming out after this one?
After.
Because this one should come out after
Captain Marvel?
Valerian. Yeah, this one should come after Valerian. I guess you know what, we're gonna release the DVD.
Oh, the DBZ one, yeah. Or Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it yet?
Oh man, I gotta see.
We're gonna release
Well,
that.
we already recorded the.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us, and thank you for the the Black Panther was our highest viewed one on YouTube.
Thanks to you.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
they didn't let us boost it on Facebook, so we didn't get as much.
Really?
Loud shout out to our new Patreon fan. Thank you.
Oh yes,
Oh,
thank
yes,
you.
a new Patreon.
Yes, thanks for our new Patreon. Thank you.
We will be shouting your name out next time.
Yes. So cut.
No, what
I didn't
doesn't make
mind
any
it.
sense to me.
I didn't mind
What
it.
doesn't
It
make
didn't
any
make
sense to me
any-
is that you have someone who's obviously been through a war. Cold War has done all this stuff.
As a spy.
Now this new threat has come, or whatever. No, he's not going to be joking around. No, he's going to be okay. Yeah, what do we need to do? I don't mind them having a cap, but to me, how I would
I
have
think you
did
need to
it.
go back and watch the
did watch it.
no, the Captain. I mean, not Captain, but the the Avengers movies because in those movies he was making jokes too.
No,
like
he was
about his
making-
eye and stuff like that. So
Right.
it's like, what are you talking about? Like,
Hold on a second. No. When he made jokes, it was always something small. It wasn't like he
it's
was
a different
like,
time. It's a different
He wasn't
time. He was a leader of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
He's a leader of
Yes,
S.H.I.E.L.D.
he's a leader. Yes, he's a leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. But certain aspects of, I'm sorry.
It's like, how can
You're
you
not
take
going to change that
one
much.
person at one time?
Hold on a second. Someone who's 40 is not going to change that much as far as their personality to 50. You're not going to change that much.
That's not true. It isn't true. I'm a totally different person than I was when I was 20 or 27. Totally different.
I don't think you're all that different.
I'm pretty different, John.
I think you're all that
Pretty different. I was a lot nicer.
How different is he?
Put it this way, I was a lot nicer back then. I was way more quiet.
Yeah, you might have been made more quiet, but certain aspects of who you are go with you throughout your life.
And I
I'm
saw the
sorry.
same thing in
I didn't
Fury
see
that
the
I
same.
saw in the early movies. Just he's younger. He's a little bit more
That's an
easygoing.
old lady flip. That old lady kick and flip.
I even saw
And
the
their
same.
chemistry, was garbage too.
Yeah, the chemistry was.
That
Like,
chemistry
I even
was-
saw the same like kind of.
Machiavellian attitude with Fury, where he actually called in S.H.I.E.L.D. when they went to the
Yeah,
place to
when they went
investigate or whatever.
there.
I was like, he's doing the same things. He's not as savvy yet when it comes to all these external threats.